Actually, I do have something to bring up, by the way.
Well, let's do that.
I watched Hawkeye.
Okay, we can talk Hawkeye. If you've not seen my video on Hawkeye on Pops, we will add another footage of Hawkeye talk with Alex. Alex, convince me how much you liked Hawkeye.
Okay, overall, I like the show. I like I like Jeremy Renner's character. I think Jeremy Renner is really kind of good at it. I liked how they brought her in, but what I didn't like was like, I mean, look, she's just a regular person, and like you couldn't come up with some way to give her some kind of special powers or something. Like you like she wasn't that much of a badass. I mean, you can't be that much of a badass right off the bat. But I love. Oh,
But
look,
welcome to
taking
Marvel
that
comic
part
books.
out of
This is Marvel But see, they didn't. I want to make sure I'm clear, Bob. I don't think you've watched Hawkeye, correct?
No.
Okay, so they took the guy from Hawkeye. And they did a Disney Plus show, and they basically adapted modern comic books, which basically the old Hawkeye is really not in modern comic books. They've passed the torch to basically like a 20-year-old girl who acts way younger than her age. And they did this show that wasted no time. It was all about her. It's a Kate Bishop show, not a Hawkeye show. Because even the montage in the credits is her training, not him. We never get any backstory on him becoming Hawkeye. And I agree with Alex, and I'll say this. I said it before. I didn't hate the show from the sense of the Clint Barton storyline. The Clint Barton story of a guy, his family, the mess he made, is Ronin during the blip and during the Avengers and all that kind of stuff. He has health problems. We don't totally understand exactly how things happened or whatever. But the problem is the Kate Bishop. You hit my biggest complaint on the head because she has no superpower. She's just a human like he is. But she falls from like 30 feet on a roof on a warehouse and gets up, doesn't have any injuries. What's this, whatever. She'll take, she might weigh 120 pounds, maybe. And takes down guys that are, 200 pounds or more, which is great too. I wanted to ask your opinion too, because in Hawkeye, it's funny. A lot of these mafia members have guns, but never fire a shot. Just saying, awful lot of those scenes.
Yeah. No, and some of that stuff just didn't. It seemed lazy. It
is
just seemed
very lazy, very juvenile too.
Yeah. But
All right.
at the same time, I think Jeremy Renner as a character actually is a good character. I think he plays Hawkeye well. I think he saved that series. Like that, if it would have just been about that girl, it would have sucked. But because he was involved in it, and here's the thing: why did Ronin lose his sword and his outfit? Like, why didn't you keep that? I don't understand.
Why didn't he go back and get it?
Momentum?
I don't understand. He's like, he left it behind. It's like, it makes no sense. It's like the watch. This story about this watch that they kind of address, but then they don't really address. And you're like, I don't understand what they're doing. But okay, so here's the thing. We go through all the trouble. I'll steal Alex's phrase. Here's the thing. Why did you go through the trouble of adding Kingpin, but then Hawkeye never fights Kingpin? Kingpin is murdering someone with a car door in Daredevil, shows up for 5 minutes, fights with her. He's throwing her around. She's never really hurt. I mean, she's bumped and bruised, but she's not like injured. He could have just snapped her in half. And she uses a trick that Hawkeye teaches her with a bottle cap, sets off an explosive. And they filmed, and I kid you not, these are all spoilers, by the way. I kid you not, the end of the show ends with the other character, female character, looking like she shoots and kills Kingpin. There's an end credit scene in Hawkeye because they always have to jangle the keys so you can get ready for what happens next. What was the end credit scene in Hawkeye, Alex?
Oh shit, I forgot. It didn't have something to do with
It's the Avengers musical.
Yeah.
It was the Avengers musical. It was the fake musical based on the Avengers. They filmed a scene where they show that Kingpin survives, and they cut it for the musical. I kid you not. That's my thing. It's not that the shows, well, they are kind of unwatchable as a fan, but they're not unwatchable to someone like yourself. You're a normie. Let's just be honest. You're a normie. It's okay.
All right. I agree with that. No, I totally agree with that. By the way, I'm basic.
But it's like it's when everyone I meet usually likes most of these things. Same thing with like Book of Boba Fett or whatever. And then I'll ask different questions like, well, what about this? And most people go, I didn't think about that. What about this? Oh, yeah, that wasn't very good. And it's like, well, what did you actually like then? You start stripping so much of it away. There's not much left. And it's like Disney Plus has become like mindless streaming content. They don't have to really make sense anymore. They can create contradictions, and most people are just like, they just keep moving. Just keep moving to the next Marvel product. Don't put a lot of thought into it. Don't put a lot of energy in it. And my wife just goes, yeah, you're just overanalyzing it. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm overanalyzing it then. Yeah, I'm a nerd. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the case, but at the same time, like it's only gonna. Here's the thing: the difference I have now between before. Before, I would go see everything the second that it.
Yes, you would.
Popped.
You were always chomping at the bit.
Now I don't chomp at the bit. I wait till I got some time and then I'll watch it. Like I haven't watched Spider-Man yet.
No,
I haven't watched Chung-Chi and the.
Yeah, I'm missing much there.
I've started watching some of it, but I fell asleep during some. I fell asleep during a bunch of it.
You're not good.
So I've watched some of those things, but at the same time, like it's not. It doesn't have that same hook that it had before, and I don't want to say I don't understand why, but like it just seems like that they kind of strayed off of what they did in the first couple phases. That now that they've had, Infinity War and Endgame. I think they didn't really have a solid plan after that.
Well, the problem is they actually do have a plan, but their plan is that you are being taken advantage of, that you'll continue that Marvel high. You'll keep shoveling the money and seeing all this stuff, even though you're now getting like the JV writers that don't have any credits, the director who's never directed a superhero movie directing these multi-budget films. They care more about an Asian director directing the Asian actor in the Asian film, but there's not like a good character arc, and it's boring and sin, and he's dragging around some girl who doesn't even speak Chinese. You have no idea why Shang-Chi's doing these things. They break the rules they create earlier in the movie. Good luck trying to sit through Eternals. Eternals is literally like, it's the first time I've ever sat in a Marvel film, and I caught myself doing this. Am I falling asleep in a Marvel film? About 25 minutes in. It's so slow. Hour and 45 minutes could just be almost cut. That's how little actually happens of significance with a bunch of characters that you care nothing about. And they've moved into that third wave feminism, your physical attributes, being a woman, all that stuff matters more than good character stuff. And that's what happened in the comic books. And they're basically, we don't Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is literally like a self-insert of a Muslim woman who wants to, quote, see herself in it. And it's really frustrating because they're just banking on you just continuing to stay a consumer and not being a fan. And I think that's the problem. Long gone is Cap, Iron Man. I mean, Hulk's pretty much gone. I assume we'll finish off Hulk when we get to She-Hulk, because we have a She-Hulk coming. Now, you get Kate Bishop. You're going to get America Chavez, who is she's alien, but she's gay and Puerto Rican, and goes to Sotomayor University and punches holes in portals and speaks like a 6-year-old. It's very, very strange. The modern comic books. Yeah, I wish I could tell you.
It's sad that they're going to ruin it. It's sad that they're going to ruin it. Really is at the end of the day, because
but Spider-Man is not
watching. Like, I'm not going to be upset. I'm just going to stop watching.
Yeah, Spider-Man is not. I would highly recommend Spider-Man. It is one of the most entertaining movies, definitely the most entertaining movie since Endgame. Possibly the best movie of last year, because it's entertaining even if you rewatch it. It's that good. Spider-Man is that good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm not going to say it's a 4-star movie, because the first 30 minutes or so is clunky. You got some issues. But even if you haven't seen all the other Spider-Man movies, they explain enough that you have a great time. My wife loved it, and she's not a fan at all. She's less of a normie than you are, and she had a fun time. Yeah.
Nice. All right, good.
I know you probably have to bail, my friend. I appreciate you even having some pop culture talk.
Hey, we're News Talk with Brandon and Bob. We're here to tell you about some of the facts so you don't have to waste your time watching CNN.
We don't want you wasting any time with CNN.
Or Fox, or MSNBC, or some of these other guys that are making a whole lot of money.
Et cetera, et cetera.
It's not paying.